for the sake of this example, you run build out, you add a Plone site, which had the RFA site profile. You would edit a text file in the stepper product that had some configuration variables like where the data is coming from on a file system. And then you would kick it off with a Python that I wrote that simply calls OCTL run with the appropriate site module or name of the Plone site in Zope, and then the steps that I want to run. That's the site. You can see there's sub-sites, and underneath that folder is 10 different sites. You probably can't see this, but this is the config file. It specifies things like where you ran build out and where the data is. And then, you see this? The top one. Can anyone see the top line of that? No. It says run me. There we go, next. So this is run me. It's basically just Python that calls OCTL run on all the language services. This is the new ta-da look of the site, and probably not the prettiest thing in the world, but I like it better aesthetically, and also as a content editor, I like it a lot better. Go back 2, 3. Sorry, no, that isn't actually the content. Agenda has set up this thing. Go forward 3. Thing where it's listening on 2 ports. So if you go to 9081, you get the retail view, which is that. But if you go to 8081, you get basically Plone, as you would expect to see it, with the retail in the middle, which is an interesting approach. This is what a story looks like with the content in it. You can see the set text body, or the body, which is the content is inserted with set text, basically, after it's extracted from the old story. The image is done inline. They had a bunch of fields for like featured image and featured audio, none of which they used. They said we just wanted inline in the story, which makes sense in some cases. But on the right there, where that portlet or the right column, you can do, by inserting images and audio into fields of the story, you get portlet type things that pop up. And you can see the related links at the bottom. This is a Firefox Showcase plugin thingy of all the language services on this is what I use to test, so you can see like all the different, an example of a story in each language service. It didn't go perfect, it didn't go as fast as I would have liked, we're still working on it. A lot of that had to do with them learning Plone as we went, and me learning to meet their needs, so we pretty much evened each other out. They had huge pushback from their content editors. It was like, war. Their content editors didn't want to, basically the person who started this project got us all working on it and then left the company. And the content editors just were not getting behind this until very recently, where they're able to use the system and give useful, valuable feedback. There were avoidable problems, I think. The biggest of which is, can you go to the next slide? I can't remember any of the avoidable problems at the moment. Go back. There are things that I would do differently, and I thought that I had them in the slide here, but I don't. I don't want to say Stepper is not a good tool. It's a great tool. It's kind of like being inside the head of the guy that wrote it. I think I would do, if I had it to do over again, I'd probably write a single Python that did each language service very simply and call that. That's one of the things. But that didn't really cause any problems. Next, please. We have had a fair amount of issues with missing content, wrong content, and silent failures. If you're writing any code for a migration, I would say take very seriously the notion that you don't want to be writing code that you don't know what it's doing and is just running, which is basically how I did it. And so I'm finding myself going back and saying, what's going on here? You need to write code that if there's a failure, it, raises a red flag. And I tended to skip, to make it not do that for the sake of running it in batch style and shoving a lot of content in. Probably not the best idea. So one of the things we had a problem with was the date was missing, and this could have been for a variety of reasons, one of which maybe they didn't style it with the class date. I don't know, there were several issues like that. This code, which I guess nobody can see, basically, I didn't like the overhead of running the migration, the full-on migration every time I needed to fix something. So I started writing small Python scripts that just went in and did exactly what I needed them to do, which in this case, since we know the date from the path to the story, if the story was missing in the date, I just need to know, what the path of the story is, and then I just set the date, and that's what that Python does. Next. Duplicates, like I said before, we removed all the duplicates. For some reason, there was a large number of stories in the private state. I'm not sure exactly why, but I couldn't. It seemed to me as I was trying to, they were missing content, and it seemed to me that they were. I would try to create a story, and I just wouldn't get the story for some reason. Just thinking about it, you would think you'd be able to, if that object was there in the private state, you'd be able to call mutators on it and stuff. But at some point, I just wanted to remove all the private state, aka broken content, and start over. And so that was a script that did that. So clearly define your things you're going to deliver. Don't write bad code. Like I said, I wrote code that I probably wouldn't write the same way this time because I am digging quite a bit through logs and trying to figure out what happened. Speed is a huge issue. This originally took like days to run. As we got more and more content into it, one of the features I added was don't try to create every story every time because that's very time consuming to go through and call the factory and all that stuff. So if the story exists, it just keeps going. And so we were able to sort of grab new content that way. But obviously, taking every step you can to affect the speed of this thing as it's running is going to be, on a large site, is going to, you'll be very happy that you did that at the end. These people were basically happy. They offered me a job, which I don't think I can take because I'm a Plone consultant, but and aside from the problems they had with their content headers, I basically am working for a small web team. They have indicated that their web people are going to, if we fix a certain, half a dozen more things they're going to launch. So that's good news. This has been, I guess, for me personally, a great thing to work on because I've gotten up to speed on just a large number of things. Python, features of Python, Unicode, HTML extraction, regular expressions. I think I know probably 10 times more than I did about Python when I started. This was one of the things that I always loved was that when I first started, Chris McDonough was in the room. I said, how do I know I have this file system path, how do I refer to this in open? He's like, oh, we use this dictionary style. What is this notation? Dictionary style. And I said, okay, so I basically translated everything I found in the file system into a dictionary style, reference, which is totally unnecessary. I could have just called unrestricted traverse. And that's it.